Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, I'm going to be reviewing a Lamborghini Urus. First and foremost though, a huge shout out and thank you to the TJ Chapman Auto here in Utah for giving me some time with this Urus. They actually have two for sale right now, so if you're interested, I'll include a link to their website in the description down below. Definitely check them out. They also have a bunch of other awesome inventory as well. And with that being said, let's just get right into it. Now, something that I do want to quickly say is the focus of our review will be on this particular Urus, but this is the other one that they have, and the only difference that I noticed, other than obviously the color between both of these, is the wheels. So here are the wheels on the white one that, again, we won't be reviewing, and it also has carbon fiber mirror caps, and then the exhaust tips. And then this one does not have screens in the back, and then its interior color, which you guys probably can't see because of the window tint. There you go. Under the hood of the Urus, we have a twin-turbo 4-liter V8 that goes through an 8-speed automatic transmission. Power outputs are 641 horsepower at 6,000 RPMs, and then 627 pound-feet of torque from 2,250 RPMs to 4,500 RPMs. And this obviously is all-wheel drive, and yeah, pretty cool. You guys can see it says Turbo Compresso. I guess that's exactly how we're supposed to say things in Italian, and that was probably the worst pronunciation ever. And you guys will notice that this one was originally yellow. It has been wrapped in this satin black wrap, but anyways, that's under the hood. Now let's go over the front end of the Urus, however you pronounce it. Anyways, really sharp body lines here on the hood, and this wrap really shows off those body lines. You can see exactly what Lambo was intending with the design. And then we of course have our Lamborghini badge front and center, and I really like the design here on the lights. You've got the daytime running light that is in the Y shape, and then really bright LED headlights. And then moving on from that, you can see here with the grille, again, it literally has all of the normal like hallmarks of Lamborghini styling. But we do have a little sensor there for the adaptive cruise control system, it looks like, and then parking sensors on the front end. And yeah, let me know if you guys like the white or the black more. Now for the tire and wheel setup, it's 285 by 35 by 23 in the front, and then 325 by 30 by 23 in the back. And so yeah, it wasn't Range Rover that was the first one to bring us 23-inch wheels. It was actually Lambo. And the reason we have 23-inch wheels is look at the size of these rotors. These are probably the biggest rotors I think I've ever seen on a production car. And then you can see here with the acid green brake caliper, that's another really cool element on this particular Urus. I'm still deciding on how I'm going to end up pronouncing it by the end of this video. Anyways, notice with the subtle fender flare right there. And I love this accent piece with the Italian flag colors. And then you can see the bodywork all along the side. And notice that a lot of stuff is pretty flush overall. Yeah, we have some crazy lines happening here on the side, but you don't have anything that like pops out like a massive amount, which I think helps with the styling, and it just looks really good overall. Now here's a quick look at our key fob. Of course, we got the Lamborghini badge there on the back. But anyways, we hold this down and that'll pop open the cargo area. And well, if you guys have actually seen my review on the RS Q8, then this will look very familiar to you in terms of the interior dimensions because, well, same vehicle. But you guys can see with our whole setup underneath there. And overall, I mean, it's got a decent amount of cargo space. Notice we have this button right here to raise or lower the suspension in the rear, so it makes loading things a little bit simpler. It's so funny to see the yellow. That's what happens when you wrap a car though. But that is the cargo area, and I guess we'll just go over the rest of the rear here. So again, you've got the Y shape here with the taillights. Of course, got the Lamborghini badge in the center. And then we got chrome exhaust tips here. So again, that's a little bit different compared to the other one that has them all blacked out. And then you guys can see the parking sensors there at the bottom, and then the venting here. And the more that I look at this, the more I realize that a lot of other automakers have like stolen design cues from this vehicle, which is kind of interesting. But yeah, really cool looking. Now here's a door panel in the rear, and looking at this door panel in person, it definitely reminds me of Audi, because I reviewed a few Audi RS cars and I really see it with the material use and just the overall fit and finish, which is not an issue because Audi has amazing fit and finish, frankly, but it's definitely interesting to see that. But yeah, they have made sure that every single surface is covered, and of course we got the Bang & Olufsen sound system, which, by the way, top notch. Lamborghini logo right there. And you guys can see here with the seats in the back, they've got kind of like that bucket seat appearance, and of course hexagons all over because that's a Lambo thing to do. And the seats are power adjustable, which is pretty cool. And popping in, ooh, pretty easy to get in. There's legroom. There's headroom. Got the storage pocket on the back of the seat. Got some more vents down below, and then you can see here with the cup holders. So I spent about 2 minutes trying to find the latch for this because, I mean, you guys can see there's a separation here in the center, so you think that there's going to be a latch. Nope, you just literally pull it up. So, yeah, center console for the rear, got some USBs inside of it. So, yeah, definitely practical. And then this one has TVs in the back, like I said, so it's definitely a cool feature. And also, look at this. You can, like, pull that open for the pass-through, but also it's got, like, the Lambo triangles, so it kind of looks pretty cool overall. But anyways, let's head to the front. Now here is the front door panel. Again, you can see from material perspective, it is absolutely fantastic, and every single surface is covered. No, not even the inside. Anyways, you guys can see here with the window controls right there, and then the mirror adjustments. They do power fold in. Here's a quick look at the mirrors. I really like that for the door handle. And look, it automatically like unlocks it when you pull on it. That is interesting. Function for the memory seats, and then you can see there for the hatch. And then here are the front seats. And again, notice the perforations. Got really nice bolstering on the seats. All of your adjustments there on the side. And then again, Lamborghini logo. Here are the pedals. That's a beefy brake pedal. Look at it. It's like fat. That's interesting. And then your light controls right here. And then you can see the trim on the dash. Again, all really nice looking, but let's pop in. So here is the steering wheel, and I really like how there's like a marker there at the top, just like what a Ford Raptor has, which is pretty cool. It's just like a sports car thing to do, but really nice leather all around, and it's got like the golf ball texture. This reminds me of the steering wheel in the Audi R8, actually. And then you can see here we've got like our voice command phone controls on the one side, and then you got like other practical controls on the other side for like the center screen. Really nice paddle shifters here on the back. They're very unique looking and angular, again, a normal Lambo fashion. And this is actually how you get into drive, is you press that paddle right there, and that puts you into drive, which is pretty interesting. And then we do have stuff for the whole like cruise control, turn signal stock setup, and then also for the windshield wipers. So, you know, normal stock setup, but there's a steering wheel. So we have a full digital gauge cluster, and this is basically Audi's virtual cockpit, but Lamboized. And so there's a bunch of info there on the one side, which you guys can see what this has been averaging, 12.7 miles per gallon. The Urus is not necessarily the most economical vehicle, but if you can afford this, you can afford the gas. And on the other side, you can scroll through a bunch of different bits of info on the vehicle as well. But the cool party trick is the different drive modes. Now, I am not even going to attempt to pronounce the different drive modes, but basically you have, well, Strada, I feel like that's pretty easy enough, and that's your street mode. And then you've got the Sport, which is, right, sporty driving. And then Corsa, right, this is your highest performance mode, and it does open up the valve for the exhaust, so it sounds really aggressive. And then you have, hopefully I pronounced this right, Sabia, which is for sand and dirt. And then you have Terra, which is like your hardcore off-road mode, I guess if you ever wanted to like rock crawl with this or something like that. And then I think Neve, whatever, winter driving, basically. And those are the different drive modes and how it changes the gauge cluster. So here's the infotainment system. First off, if we pop it into reverse, you guys can see here, we've got the backup camera with your directional lens, and then we've got the bird's eye view. And you really have to like click on the screen for it to do anything. But anyways, we've got this full like 360 camera view, so like every single angle of the Urus is covered, which it doesn't really need it because it's not a massive crossover. But anyways, as for the rest of the infotainment system, it's actually pretty straightforward. You got a shortcut bar here on the side, and then notice we can go into different menus like the Anima, so you can see the setup for everything. And then notice with the suspension, you can also raise that. But like I can change the drive mode there instead of using the whole like little shifter thing basically, but I can also use the shifter, which I'll show you guys in a moment. But other than the fact that you kind of have to like click to get into the menus, overall pretty easy to use infotainment system, and it's very nicely integrated here into like the whole dash, which really nice material use, by the way. Now down below we've got this for the stability control hazard lights, and then obviously for the defroster, and then we have yet another screen, and this is for the climate system here. And notice we do have heated and cooled seats. Again, it's got like that haptic feedback thing with the buttons. Notice we do have hill descent control and auto stop start, and that turns off that screen, not this screen. That is interesting. You think it would turn off the screen that it's on. Anyways, you got like a volume control here, and then this is the little shifter to change the different drive modes. They call it the anima, right, to go through the different modes. And then this is how you get into reverse, is you press that and then park, and then you guys saw the whole sequence of starting it up. Definitely feels cool in your manual mode right there. And I love how this says Ego on it, but you guys can see this is kind of like your custom mode, and we throw it in and then it kind of throws everything with what you want. And then all the controls right below it is to change up different functions. So like I can change the steering, for example, if it will let me change the steering. There we go. So you guys can see you've got like smooth, medium, and then you have your, I guess, sport, and then also for the all-wheel drive system, and then also for the suspension as well. But I can just press the anima to go back into street mode if I want after that. Now over here we've got our parking brake auto hold, and then we've got that for the parking sensors, and then look at the ambient lighting inside, pretty fun. And yet another like lid that looks like it would be two separate parts, but it's, I guess, not. Anyways, wireless phone charging pad in there, a bunch of USBs, and then we've got a glove box, which is absolutely massive, like just enormous. And I like the handle on it. The handle definitely feels high quality. Nice leather trim. Again, material use is fantastic. More ambient lighting. This definitely has like a very cool feel to it inside. And then you can see here with the pillars, they've got Alcantara on it, and that's also on the headliner as well. Pretty normal for this segment. And then you do have a panoramic center controls for it, just right there. But yeah, definitely has all the normal like SUV stuff. Now, if you want the most up-to-date pricing on this Urus, or that one over there, then check out TJ Chapman Auto's website in the description down below. Let's drive it. Well, let's talk about visibility before we set off. Here's your visibility of the hood, and you guys can hopefully see the heads-up display. And I think it's so cool that these pop up at the end of the dash when you turn the car on. Both the mirrors, and then throughout the rest of the rear. And, oh, almost forgot, paddle. Let's set off. So, setting off in the Lambo SUV. And this is, this is the first time I've ever driven this. I have driven the RS Q8, and this is actually one of only a handful of times that I've ever driven just a Lambo, period. So yeah, definitely a unique experience. But from what I've seen so far, is this feels more like a Audi with a Lambo badge rather than anything else. I know I'm giving it a little bit of a hard time, but I really don't have a problem with this having so many components and features and everything from Audi, because frankly their technology is so good. But you know, it still has like the Lambo theater in terms of the looks, and just like the overall interior, definitely it feels crazy. Now those brakes are extremely touchy, like it's crazy. But I mean, you guys saw how big the rotors are. Now this is honestly really easy to drive. Like in this Strata mode, suspension's pretty compliant. Again, it's got the adjustable air suspension. It's quiet, it gets smooth. Like, this is a comfortable SUV, and it's a good luxury SUV. Again, I got the air conditioned seat function on, which is great because it's super hot today. And like going over these train tracks, for example, yeah, really comfortable. Now we can amp things up a little bit, pop it into sport. Love that sound. Let's actually pop it into the So we're on the manual mode now. So quick with the gear shifts. Like this 8-speed, super responsive, but that's not what we're here for. We're here for, of course, Corsa, because, you know, kind of amps things up a little bit more. I love how the gauge cluster looks. It has this, I don't know, almost like video game type feel to it. And the one thing that I do like about this compared to other Lambos is not just the practicality, but the fact that this definitely, it flies more under the radar. Like, I haven't had anyone really pay too much attention to me yet. Well, that truck is trying to figure out their life. That is sharp. This sounds pretty dang good. For a turbocharged V8, this sounds pretty good. And the pops. Yeah, and the gear shifts are just super snappy. Like, just one to another, which definitely lends to, you know, part of the exciting driving experience overall. Of course, we got to get a little overdrive and... So, something that I found out that's pretty fun is if you just get in the throttle a little bit and just let off, you get little pop-ups out of the back. It's not like insanely loud. It's not like Jaguar, the original Jaguar F-Type R, you know, in terms of like pop, pop, pops. But it still definitely has some pops that are fun. That is for sure. Yeah, the big thing that I really like about this, I know I keep talking about the transmission, but it definitely, it makes the experience. And the seats are also like, these seats are so comfortable. You usually don't expect this in, you know, such a purpose-built sports SUV. You know, like at the time of release, this was like the fastest SUV on the planet. I think it still might be the fastest SUV on the planet. Anyways, now that we are in, what do they say, Mexico, we're gonna see how this goes. Wow, that is quite substantial. Definitely feels like an SUV. Like, it corners really well, but it still feels like an SUV. It's just I'm gonna put this back in automatic mode so I can talk better. It just feels like it handles way better than it should, but you definitely feel the weight that you're throwing around the corners, so there's no hiding that. And so, yeah, I guess that's we'll get into summing things up here with the my first experience in the Urus, which again, shout out to TJ Chapman Auto for letting me drive this around the block. I think it looks amazing in person. It sounds good. It's fun. We're gonna pop back into Strata mode. Oh no, that's the snow mode. There we go, Strata mode. It sounds great. It looks great. Interior is really nice, high quality. I guess the only downside about this, frankly, in my personal opinion, is that there's so much Audi in here. Again, it does have its own like bespoke feel. Like, it does have its own feel, but there is so much Audi in here that, I don't know, part of me, like I guess the value part of me is like, I would rather just get the RS Q8 potentially, because you have pretty much the same performance, a lot less money. But I also like how this looks so much more than the RS Q8. Like, the RS Q8's a good looking SUV, but this looks so much cooler. And, well, when you're spending this much money in an SUV, right, it's definitely one of those pride things. And so when you're out and about with your friends, they're like, oh, what do you drive? Oh, I drive an RS Q8. They're gonna be like, what the heck's that? Whereas if they go, what do you drive? You go, Lambo, and they go, ooh, right? So again, there's so much behind the brand name and everything. And so overall, great luxury / sporty SUV. And I mean, if I had the money, I probably would rock one of these. That's gonna sum things up for our video on the Lambo SUV. And again, a huge shout out and thank you to TJ Chapman Auto for giving me some time with this Urus. I'll put a link to their website in the description down below. I'll see you.